Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to BipolarLines, your lifeline for honest, unfiltered conversations about loving someone with bipolar disorder. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Laura, and together we share our experiences with you. Each week, we're diving into the messy, beautiful truth and some practical skills that help us so that we hopefully can help you.
Yes. So, to all of our OG listeners and new listeners, if our show speaks to you, please be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on whatever platform you're listening or watching us on. You can also join our Facebook group. It's Bipolar Lines Pod, 2 words. It's a private group, a safe space with the option to post anonymously. So, check us out there. But all right, today's topic is going to be on connecting with your person after an episode, but in our regular fashion, we're going to do a check-in first. So, Laura, how are things going?
Yeah, actually better. Cody's sleep machine came in. Most of you know the saga around that. I know, finally.
Love that.
And so just getting back to restful sleep. He was sleeping and everything, but it's just not the quality of sleep that he can get with his sleep machine. So that was the big news of our house, our household. And then we are currently doing a lot of just cleaning and it's fall, but it's spring cleaning because we're having a ton of people over next weekend for my daughter's 16th birthday party.
Wow.
Sounds crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we're up to.
Love that.
Other than that, yeah. How about you? You guys have a house situation.
We do, but we're in the house. I'm in a different room recording today. I don't have curtains on my windows, so I'm really bright. Sorry. It is what it is because I have to wash everything in this house, but we are back in the house, so we're done.
Yay.
At the hotel. We spent a good 2 weeks and 2 days there, so glad to be home. But now it's just, cleaning and everything else, right, to get back to normal.
Because you guys are getting ready to sell it, so you're trying to get it ready to sell.
Getting ready to sell, getting ready to put down flooring, just all the fun things. So, yeah, there's that. But I did want to share something that I feel is very important that we haven't even talked about, Laura. So the last couple episodes, I know I had talked about how I was struggling. I was in this depressive funk. I was angry. I've been angry, the whole 9 yards. Laura, I started taking a new medicine for sleep called Lunesta.
Okay.
Did you know a side effect of Lunesta is depression? Did you know a side effect of Lunesta is extreme anxiety, irritability, and rage? Because I didn't. Yes. But that
makes so much sense why you were like, I've never been like this. I don't know why I'm like this.
I don't understand. Now, that doesn't take away the fact that I needed to process what happened. Not taking anything from that whatsoever. But I have never felt the way that I felt for that month. The only reason I stopped taking it was because I ran out. We were in the hotel. It happened on a Thursday night. I forgot about it on a Friday. Again, we were in the hotel. There was things happening. And then the weekend passed, and it was 3 days after I stopped taking it that I was like, I feel better. I'm feeling better. This is weird. This is so weird. And then the next day I was like, this is, it has to be the meds. It has to be the medicine.
Yeah.
And clearly it was, because I feel 1,000 times better. Yeah. So.
Wow. That is good to know for anyone out there.
Yes.
Always. Yeah. Check. I think, especially, I mean, not that you do that, but especially when we're talking with bipolar disorder, when you can just get put on a cocktail medley of medication, it's so important to consider those side effects.
Yep. I didn't even consider looking it up because it was for sleep. And I've never had a sleep medication, never taken a sleep medication that's actually worked for me, that didn't result in me feeling like I was hungover the next day. So that's kind of what I expected.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. It just caused me to feel like I was losing my mind.
Wow.
So there's that. But yeah, so yeah.
I'm so glad you figured that out.
I only figured it out because I stopped taking it. It didn't happen before then. But yeah, that was a rough 4 weeks. And shout out to my husband because he handled it like a champ. I mean, when I say that I was not myself, I was not myself. I know, cover your ears, mother. I know I told him to fuck off more times than I care to count. And that is not who I am.
Yeah.
It's just not. Maybe 15 years ago. Yeah. But no. So anyway, he handled it like a champ. He was like, you can take anything you want to out on me. Yell at me, scream at me, whatever it takes. I need you to just process how you're feeling. I need you to move through this. He wasn't telling me to get over it. He wasn't like, he was wonderful. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. That's awesome.
He kept saying to me, which I thought was interesting. He kept saying to me, I am deploying the same type of skills with you that you ask me to do when I'm depressed.
Aww.
And I was like, okay. Why is all that doing pissing me off? Like, I'm not kidding. Like, anytime he would try to help, I was like irate with him. Like, there was no taming me. We'll put it that way. And he was like, I don't know what else to do. I'm doing everything you told me to do, or that you do for me. Like, why isn't this working? And I'm like, I don't know. It's terrible. So,
well, I'm glad you figured that out.
Yes, indeed. So I'm feeling better there. He's doing fantastic.
Yay!
Still doing great. He said this is the best he's felt in his entire life. So, like, I'm starting to trust it a little bit more, because here's the thing with our house and me being in a medication-induced, terrible, depressive anger state, I would have expected him to spiral.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Not one time.
That is awesome.
In fact, he was my biggest cheerleader, So anyway, that's fantastic. That's great. I just wanted to share some positivity there, and just a cautionary tale of, if you take any sort of sleep medication or any other medication, really, and if you start feeling not like yourself, maybe look at that. I was too far gone to look at that, frankly. I canceled my therapy appointments. I didn't text her the last therapy appointment. I didn't even text her, tell her I wasn't coming, apparently. I thought I did. I didn't. Yeah, I was not okay. So, yeah, that's my update.
Yeah.
It's never a dull moment over here, right? Lord. All right. Well, let's dive into today's topic, which is reconnecting with your person post episode. And I don't know how you want to dive it, because there's so many things. There's so many things we could talk about. There's so many ways to reconnect. But I think, Laura, from you, a lot of our listeners in the group talk post manic episode. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna lean to you to say, what does that look like for you?
Yeah. So I think that the very first one, because I feel like that's when a lot of people come into the group, kind of like, is this over? For one, they're confused. Are they actually out of mania? And sometimes they're not, like on the way back down to baseline. They might still be a little manic when they come out of the hospital. Cody usually always is. But I would say that there's like never one way that we've always done it the same, I guess. Sure. It's kind of like everyone kind of finds their own groove, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
well, I think what you just said is important, that timing matters, right? Like, you can't expect to immediately reconnect with your person after an episode. There's too much going on for your person, too much going on for you. So I think go into it with the expectation of, it's going to take some time to like get back to baseline for them, but also a sense of normalcy for you and kids or pets, or, whatever your family dynamic looks like.
Yeah. And I feel like there's this, like, people feel the need to want to discuss everything right away. Like, okay, now they're out of it. And so can we talk about this? And I don't know if they're in the right state to talk. If you're not sure they're in the right state to talk about it, they probably aren't. You can probably just be safe to assume they're not. And yeah, I mean, I know that we all want to, go through our feelings and go through everything that happened. And that's an important part sometimes in healing, but it can't happen just right off the bat. Yeah. So it really does just take time. I think someone said that. She was like, oh, my husband, I've been, after weeks and weeks and weeks of being the enemy and being separated from my husband, he randomly called me up and wants to go to lunch. What should I do? Yeah. And she's like, that mean they're butter? And like, right. And it was like, I mean, it's a positive sign. And I mean, I definitely would go. I think that it's always important for me to reassure him that I love him. And even if it, spirals into a poor conversation where I have to hang up, there is like a daily, like, hey, I am still here and I love you, even if you hate, I don't say that part, even if you hate me or even if they still hate me.
That's the inside thought. We don't have to always say that one out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And she was wondering that too. Like, do I reach out? Do I wait for them? But my thought process with waiting for them, unless it's just met with complete vitriol every time and it seems to be doing the opposite of what you intended, which has never been my experience with Cody, unless he's manic, like coming out of a manic episode. Like if I were to just keep reaching out, like, love you, like just sending a text like that, that's just something I personally feel like I would do. But you also know
your person.
That was my next line. You know your person. So if that isn't helpful, then don't do that,
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're not sure what to do, I mean, you have to start somewhere, right? If doing nothing feels uncomfortable or not the right thing to do, so then reach out. But I think the biggest thing I would say there is when you do reach out, keep it fact-based. Keep your feelings out of it.
Yeah.
Saying I love you is different, right? But being like, I miss you so much. I wish you'd come home. I wish, I want. It's not going to work, y'all.
That's such a good point. I understand that we have emotional needs too. People will say that in our group too. Like, what about my needs? What about my emotions? We're always just, thinking about theirs. And guys, like, that's why I have a therapist. I mean, once I realized that me unloading on Cody was actually counterproductive, you can't keep doing it. It's not going to work, y'all, as Brooke just said.
It's definitely not going to work. And I would encourage you to take that a step further for the people that are like, what about my needs? Okay, fine. Let's talk about your needs for a moment. Your needs are valid. Your needs are important. Yes. If you're looking for your needs to be met while your person is manic, tell me how that works out for you.
Yeah. Or recovering from it too. It's just not going to work. Like, ideally, yes, you're going to get your partner back, and I always get Cody back, but there has to be this understanding that in that phase between, and yes, it's a gray area, and that sucks. Like, it sucks. It's a gray area, and Brooke and I can't just say it's going to take a good 3 weeks, and then after that, you're good to go. It just doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
And so, but if they are in treatment and they are getting treated, then they are going to come at some point back to baseline. And at that point, you do have your person back and you can have those conversations. But
yeah. So the last thing I think you'd want to do post a manic episode where you're already feeling some type of way about whatever happened would be to prematurely encourage a conversation to happen that doesn't go well. And that's kind of what we're getting at. We're not just saying for their sake, make sure it's the right time or give them time, we're actually saying protect you in the process. Don't prematurely have that conversation for your sake, because you're already hurt, mad, sad, irritable, angry, frustrated, tired, whatever the case may be, right? Pay attention to that, because if you do it prematurely, you're not going to get your needs met. It may start out seemingly okay, and then it takes a turn because it's a lot for that person to process. They're in that fog state, right? Where they can't really quite fully focus on what's happening, fully understand it, comprehend it, absorb it, and hold space for your feelings. So I think that's a great way to set that initial expectation of how do you do it? Not prematurely.
Yeah.
For sure.
It depends on what people mean by reconnecting. There's emotional reconnecting, there's physical reconnecting, there's just friendship reconnecting. Like, what exactly are you trying to connect? Probably all of the above,
Yeah.
And so I would say taking it slow, like, Cody and I will normally like just go to a restaurant and just chill, like just with each other.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that we've done. And I kind of take my lead from him. I feel like, fortunately, Cody is a very talkative person. Like, he's very upfront, and I do know if he's upset about something, i.e. that happened earlier this podcast. As long as I have that communication, then I can honor it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So luckily I have that and take my cues from him.
Yeah. And if you don't know, then you are kind of stuck, or you have to ask. But I would just encourage people to understand that walking on eggshells isn't really helpful in this space. I don't think
you still always have to have boundaries. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah, have those boundaries for sure. And maybe if it would make you feel better, it would be to establish like, hey, I really want to insert word, reconnect with you and move forward with you. So I'm looking to you to let me know when it's a good time to talk. There's no pressure. It could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever that looks like for you, I'm going to look to you to come back to me so that we can have a conversation about whatever happened or what moving forward looks like. Because some people may not want to even address what happened. They may just want to figure out, okay, how do I just now move forward? So
yeah, and I would say honestly, with the exception of this last episode, that is what we've always typically done, is just kind of, you're back. I'm glad you're back. Let's move forward.
Right.
And that's normally what we did. Sometimes the hurts are too big that you do have to rehash it. And in this last one, we did that through couples counseling. But
yeah, I love that for you all. So you do that. You knew your boundary. You knew what you were willing to accept, not accept, or what you needed to do, and which was address it, go back over it, and talk about those feelings. And I think, dear listeners, I think this is super important for you all to pay attention to. If you go into every post episode with the expectation of, I need to talk about all the things you said to me, all the things you did to me, all the hurt that I felt because you were sick, you were, how do I say this in the most polite way ever? Because I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to be honest with you. Like, you're not setting yourself up for success. You're also putting, what do I call it? Like a tarp over your relationship with your person. That's kind of like doom and gloom. That like, no matter what happens in these episodes, your person has to go back through the process of it, rehash it, talk about it, and apologize profusely. And in a lot of cases, apologize profusely for things they don't even remember doing.
That's a really good point. People ask that quite a bit. Like, is it Cody does end up remembering a lot of it, but it comes in pieces and it's not cohesive according to him. And it kind of comes back as flashbacks. And so, yeah, I do feel like a lot of people want that. They want the sorry, they want, and I've said this before. I made a TikTok once called the apology tour because I felt like Cody has to come back and go on an apology tour to everyone who doesn't understand. And even though he has always said he was sorry to me eventually, like, on his timeline, I haven't normally needed it because I knew that wasn't him. So like when we talk about all the time separating your person from the illness, when you truly can do this, you guys, you have arrived when you really can see that that was a different person that was treating you that way, that was yelling at you, that was saying you were the enemy. And when you can truly do that, you know that you don't need the apology from it. Yeah. From them.
Yep. And that's so important. And I'm dropping stuff over here. It took us a long time to get there. We're not saying this happened overnight, because believe me, it didn't.
Totally.
It takes a while to get there, and we've been in your shoes. That's why we just continually say this, because we want and encourage you to truly hear our words, because when it clicks for you, it clicks in ways that you will never be able to understand until it happens. It is like the biggest aha, and it's also such a relief, because you could now make sense of it. Like, this isn't, my husband, for example, has said some things to me, right? And I remember them to this day. I'll never forget them. But he has never said those to me when he hasn't been sick.
Exactly.
Ever. And he never would. So if you find yourself in that spot of, my husband would never say these words to me, I am so shocked.
Yeah, it's the illness. There's your sign.
That's it. You said it,
Yeah.
Is there anything specific that you all do? I know you said going to dinner, Laura. Like, eventually you all just like go to dinner and just chill. Is there anything else that you all do?
Yeah, Cody and I don't, like, people have date nights. We don't. Like, not a delineated one. Like some people, like my sister, she goes out every Friday. Friday's date night. Like, we don't need that, because I just feel like we're able to connect very organically. And I'm not judging people that have date night or not. I'm just saying, like, for them, that's how they have to, like, come back and reconnect. And that's great for them. It's like Cody and I don't normally need that. We're just always connected. But after an episode, we date because I feel awkward. It doesn't, we just went through something so weird, and then it's just not organic. And so, like, to get back to that, like, that's when we're like at Chili's together, just by yourself, or we went to Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory, I remember, and just the two of us, where it was like slowly kind of like a dating situation, and then back to where we were at.
Yeah. I love that. I don't know that we have a specific routine other than, and everybody's different, you know.
Yeah,
when people feel hurt, they may not be so inclined to want to be touched, right? So they may not be ready for that. That's fine. Start with a hug. Start with a hand on the knee. Start with trying to ease your body's adrenaline and awkwardness by just something small. If that works for you. If not, then communicate what it is you want, right? Communicate. So if you're not willing to make the first outreach, then say, I'm really struggling processing what happened. I'm getting there. I want to. Could really use some additional attention. I could really use more hand holding. It would make me feel so great if you just hugged me without me asking, like whatever. Because also understand, so are they. Like, they are trying to reintegrate into this relationship. And I think one of the hardest parts about this is when the person with the illness is trying to reintegrate into the relationship, the marriage, the home, what have you. They don't know what to expect from you. And they also don't want to bring it up because it's traumatizing for them.
Yeah.
Especially if they've been in a hospital. They've done a lot of stuff. They've had to say this 12 times. They've had to do all the things. That's not to discount your feelings. That's just to show you they don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. And if bringing it up is going to make it worse, they're not going to bring it up, right? If they think it was going to make it worse, they're not going to bring it up. So if we just sit here in this space like toddlers of, I want that toy, no, I want this toy, it's not going to go well, right? But if we acknowledge the elephant in the room and say, hey, I'm not ready to talk about this, but I would like to in the future. For now, can we just live simply for the next couple weeks? Like watch a movie every now, whatever the case may be, right? Just communicate that. And I promise you, you will take so much of that unknown fear, anxiety, and stress off the table, because you know what? They're going to answer you. They're going to say, yes, that'd be great. Thank you so much for saying that. Or they're going to be like, I'd love to. I'm not there yet. I will let you know when, you know what I mean? Like you just take the guessing work out of it.
Yeah, communication is key. I mean, there are times that Cody's come out where I wouldn't have been able to say anything like that yet. Like, and it depends on the situation. Like, I guess since we're talking about our lived experience, and I have plenty of lived experience around this, I'll just give you a few wildly different examples. So, one time when he came out of the hospital, he wanted me to pick him up. And that's not always been the case. And so when I picked him up, when he came through those doors, he like started crying and hugged me. Everything's over at that point. Like, I don't feel any ill will. I don't feel the need to talk about anything. He probably did say he was sorry, but I could already tell by his behavior and everything. And it was so drastically different than how he entered the hospital, which was probably very hostile. And, I was the enemy, likely. Yeah. And so like that was just easy to move on from. The last one wasn't as easy and he wasn't allowed back in the house, but I do remember when he got back here after a couple months, it was like the hallway triggered something he had done to me, like, or not to me, but done. It was scary. Like he threw Legos at a door. But I mean, when you have a big man doing that, like it's just really weird and scary. And it was like, he remembered that. And I saw it in his eyes, like, remember. And then he was like, oh no, oh my God. Like started like shaking his head. He's like, Laura, you didn't deserve that. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. I mean, it's over. I don't need to talk about it when I get a reaction like that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if other people get those, like we talked about before, sometimes they just might not remember, like Cody tends to. And when I see it, it's like, it disarms me and I am over it at that point. Like I don't need to have anything else. So, I mean, and then one time he didn't have me pick him up, but he had his friend pick him up and drop him off when he got released from the hospital. And he was still mad at me for something, I'm sure, even though he was better. And he just acted like not even a friend. What do you call an acquaintance?
Okay.
He had come home and he was like, like just cordial, like you'd be to an acquaintance, like very, very cold. Like it's not like there was any like warmth there, not mad at me, but just like, hey. And then he was busy doing all of his other stuff. And it was like, this is weird.
Yeah, that's
awkward. And so I didn't have a conversation with him then. Like I know with him, he will come to me when he's ready. I just know my person. So I don't need to have this. If I were to have a conversation that was like, hey, I have things to talk about, but whenever you're ready, it's not going to go well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know if it creates some sort of anxiety, because then it'll just be an outburst of like, what? Let's just get it out now. Like I just died, I can't sit on this and like wait. Like,
yeah,
I think it would be something like that. So I just wait because I know he will eventually come and we'll meet there, you know? So
yeah. And also don't expect perfection, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Everybody's different. So I'm telling you that that's what worked for me, but my husband isn't coming out of mania in my examples. It's always been depression.
Yeah.
So not always, but what I'm talking about is relative to depression. So it's just been different, right? So if it doesn't go well when you're like, I'd like to communicate my feelings, then be like, well, okay, that didn't work. Next time I won't say that, and we'll just try something different. But I guess once you're at the stage where you all are trying to reconnect and you're trying to go to dinner and do all the things, it's hard, especially if there's some sort of someone stepping outside of the marriage, affairs, other relationships that have been formed, whatever that looks like. Trust is super hard to reestablish. But again, you start small and you get your own therapist. You work with that therapist on the things that you want, and you have to truly, honestly, in my opinion, you have to figure out if you can do this.
Yeah. And I think you do that. I mean, I hate to like preach therapy all the time, but I think that is how you can figure it out with an objective party. Because the problem is like, yes, I have my mom. I talk to my mom all the time. She knows probably everything. And she's not an objective party. So even though she's helpful in terms of like always going to be there to listen, like there is a piece of her that is worried about me. And that's okay. Like I understand that. But that's why the therapist is so helpful, because they can be objective about what you're talking about.
Yeah. Good points. Yeah, it's all just different. But, think about, again, I'm talking like post episode, and when the fog has lifted, and you're trying to reestablish that connection, whether it's like going on a short walk or going to the park or cooking a meal together or watching a funny podcast, YouTube video. You don't have to go to this like grandiose dinner. You know what I mean? Like start small and get comfortable doing those things. There's also a ton of games if you're gaming people, like board game type things where it's like reconnecting 101, but then it's like date night. There's so many games, where you can ask questions that are funny. You can ask the questions that are like more serious. And it just gets your mind thinking in a neutral environment, because we're not starting off conversations with all of the emotional stuff. You can look into those. That just finally my brain is working. Reminded me of what we did. So post separation. Well, no, not post, but during, when we were separated. And he was manic and I didn't know it, filed for divorce, you name it, right? We reconnected and I ended up moving in, to his apartment, blah, blah, blah. How that worked was this. We needed to date each other again. We had been through a lot, right?
Yeah, you're just discussing what I was saying. It's like you have to date again to get back to where you were, because where you were is such a close, intimate relationship.
Yes.
You can't just like dive back into that level.
No, absolutely not. And our rule, we weren't talking about anything that happened in the past on our dates. It was not allowed. Okay. We would have those conversations, but what worked better for us was either on the phone or in person, but not on dates. We weren't going to be texting because you can completely misinterpret tone on text. Yeah. Right. So
true.
We did that for several months, and that's ultimately how we reconnected after being separated and going through, almost divorce and me filing for reconciliation, yada, yada, yada. That is how it worked for us, obviously with kids. So we had to find babysitters and all that kind of stuff too. So we just we were very intentional about dating each other.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I wouldn't say that's been the case. We haven't really needed that. I'm not saying we don't need date night, because we could definitely use some date nights. We haven't had to have like a plan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying
since then. Yeah. So all I know to tell you all is be intentional about the things that have worked for you all. I would also tell you to be mindful of the things that you did or do when you're dating, if they became triggers for episodes, don't bring those over into your reconnecting phase. So in my case, when I met my husband, it was at a bar. Drinking was it was heavily involved in our relationship, right? Drinking was a problem in our marriage. Drinking was him numbing the pain, right? So drinking became this thing that wasn't a positive thing in our relationship. We didn't have fun anymore. Mm-hmm. So when we reconnected and went on dates, drinking couldn't be part of the equation. It just couldn't. It didn't work for us. It was triggering for him because the body, the mind, the memories, it all remembers. Mm-hmm. And it never went well. So
you've given that advice to other people in the group too, because you were like, well, wait, I think someone even said that they knew it was a trigger. And you're like, if it was a trigger, why are you going to go do it then? Yeah. Because they were just saying it'd been a long time. They just wanted to let loose. They hadn't done it in forever. And that she kind of was on board, but she was having this thing holding her back, which I think is why she asked the group. She knew the answer to her own question. And I do understand, what she was saying, but that's I think why you're alluding to that too.
Yeah.
Don't go back and do something that you knew, triggered them if you knew it did.
Yes. Yeah. And if for your person, for example, if you have to go back, then be very intentional about it. Set boundaries, set rules, but also be mindful of did it work? Did it not work? You're going because you want to feel that nostalgia from your dating. Mm-hmm. You want that feeling, those butterflies, that carefree, excited, right? Did it work? Because most of the time the answer is going to be no, because you're living now. You're not living 10 years ago. And if so, be mindful about that. Have a conversation with your person about that and be like, well, that would have been cool, but okay, I guess we can't just will ourselves to go back and, in 10 years, 15 years, whatever it was. That doesn't work. So maybe we need to figure out a new way to date each other. Also, just for the good of the people, if you use AI in good ways and for good reasons, use ChatGPT, for example, and say, hey, I want a dating plan for a month. I want to go on 4 dates.
Yeah, totally.
We like to do these things. What can we do? And it'll help you. It'll help take a lot of the guesswork out of it. So use your resources, but it doesn't have to be some, elaborate plan. But I think the biggest part in all of this is you have to be intentional. Be intentional about when you talk.
I think the bullet points from today really are, for one, don't rush it. It's typically a slow process.
Yep.
And you don't have to be perfect. I love that you said that too. It's everything that we've come to or that we've known today is lived experience and just figuring it out, because every person is different and every person reacts in a different way to different strategies. So work on yourself, be mindful and intentful, and have a therapist if you can, who can help you navigate your individual experience with this.
Yes.
Would you say those kinds of the bullet points?
I would just be intentional about all of those things, because without it, I think it becomes a little bit more, harder to navigate. So great topic. Also share in the Facebook group if you found, certain things that have worked better for your person or your relationship to reconnect. And feel free to share those, because, you all have a lot.
We should do a topic like that. Instead of us just answering people's questions, have a topic that is what are some things that you found help you reconnect after an episode? All these things, then we can come with an episode idea of that. Here's wisdom from our group or something. That'd be kind of fun.
The group's wisdom. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, as always, that's another great conversation. Let's see. You can find me on TikTok at break_the_stigma, and Laura.
I am at the BP spouse. And then you can find us in that Facebook group. It's called BipolarLines Pod, and it's a private group, as Brooke mentioned at the start. Come check us out. Come visit us. Good community there. Lots of people helping each other.
Indeed. Also, if you want to do us a solid and just give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening or watching us on, that would be fantastic. It's just a free way to help us out, get us in front of more people, and hopefully help others. But yeah, we drop episodes every other week on Wednesdays. And until then, thank you all so much for showing up for your person, for showing up for you. And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.